Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Why Steph isn't a top 10 NBA player of all time, per T-Mac. Steph Curry again was subject to slander from a retired NBA player. It's a day that ends in Y, after all. The latest culprit is Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer Tracy McGrady. The 45-year-old left the superstar Warriors guard off of his top 10 NBA players of all time list, and he had interesting reasoning for doing so. Here's what McGrady said on Sunday in a video he posted on X, formerly known as Twitter. "He hasn't cracked my top 10 yet, he just hasn't," McGrady said on Sunday. "I think Steph has had a phenomenal career. Obviously, for championships, 2 league MVPs, and he has a finals MVP. But if you go back in his career and look at when Draymond Green is out of the lineup for the season, and when Klay Thompson is out for the season or half the season, to me, if you're that great, if you're going to be a top 5 player, and one of your guys is missing and you can't make the playoffs, I can't put you in my top 5 or top 10, I just can't." He did, though, list some of Curry's remarkable feats. Yet, the 7-time NBA All-Star seemed unimpressed. McGrady believes a hobbled Curry's inability to carry a 15-50 injury-riddled Golden State squad to the playoffs during the coronavirus-impacted 2019-2020 NBA season keeps him apart from the game's all-time top 10, which is quite the take. But McGrady wasn't finished. He doubled down on what he deems as greatness. "Greatness to me is when one of your guys is out, you still got to elevate your team at least to the playoffs," McGrady added. "They don't even make the playoffs when Klay or Draymond are out of the lineups. And they haven't won a NBA play-in tournament game at all. So, top 5? No chance." McGrady's use of Golden State's team performances against Curry's all-time ranking doesn't make too much sense, considering the topic is about individual players and not rosters or the team's season results. Yet, Curry has the hardware to prove he always has been a team-oriented player. And he has averaged 24.8 points, 6.4 assists, and 4.7 rebounds throughout his 15-year NBA career, while McGrady averaged just 19.6 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 4.4 assists in his. As a player or teammate, Curry has done much. Curry will retire as one of the best to ever play in the NBA. McGrady, a fellow guard, doesn't want to see number 30's name near the top of any lists, though. Warriors trade proposal would flip Moses Moody to Milwaukee Bucks. Moses Moody does not fit the Golden State Warriors timeline for him to develop. With the Warriors seeking to maximize Stephen Curry's remaining championship window, they could flip Moody for a veteran upgrade to help them get back into the playoffs. One such trade scenario is Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley's proposal to flip Moody with oft-injured guard Gary Payton II and some draft capital for perennial 6th Man of the Year candidate Bobby Portis of the Milwaukee Bucks. "This really only works if there are big Moody fans in Milwaukee's front office," Buckley wrote. "But as a player constantly cited by outside observers as someone deserving of more minutes than he gets in Golden State, perhaps those fans are present. If nothing else, he has the shooting touch to play alongside Giannis Antetokounmpo, which isn't the case for Jackson. Moody hasn't earned a consistent role in Steve Kerr's rotation unlike the other Warriors' young players, Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, and Tracy Jackson-Davis. Instead of wasting Moody's talent on the bench, the Warriors are better off flipping him before they lose him to restricted free agency after next season." During his exit interview, Kerr told Moody to quicken the release of his jumper and his decision-making overall, per the Mercury News. Kerr hinted Moody's role would be the same if he returns next season unless the Warriors' front office unclogged their glut of wings. "He's in his 3rd year, he hasn't played a ton, so you need reps to improve on this stuff," Kerr said. "Yeah, I think next year's a big year for Moses. I would love to get him out there more. But when you look at the roster, hey, there's just a lot of people and we haven't always been able to get him on the floor. In January, Joe Dumas of 95.7 The Game reported that Moody's camp is growing frustrated with his lack of a consistent role. "He's in the rotation one day. He's out of the rotation one day," Dumas said. For the lack of a better term, he almost seems like the sacrificial lamb, so to speak. Whenever there's a logjam, he's gonna be the guy that falls out. From what I've been told, Moses loves playing in the Bay Area and he loves playing for the Warriors. I think it's understandable that someone in his position with a lot of talent, young, would be frustrated and would want a clear path to playing time. Either here or somewhere else. Portis found a home in Milwaukee after becoming a key piece of their championship run in 2021. But as the Bucks' core gets older, he could become their trade piece to retool their team around Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard. The Warriors could strike if the Bucks make Portis available. Since joining the Bucks, the veteran forward averaged 13.5 points, 8.3 rebounds, and 1.3 assists. He was the Bucks' Iron Man this season, playing all 82 games in the regular season while averaging 13.8 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 1.3 assists, while shooting 50.8% from the field and 40.7% from three-point range. The 29-year-old Portis finished third in the sixth Man of the Year race in back-to-back seasons. Portis can knock down shots from mid-range. His grit and toughness could be a welcome addition to the Warriors. He could play both frontline positions and could complement Jackson Davis well in the second unit with his floor spacing ability. Kerr is familiar with Portis' game, having coached him in the Team USA in the 2023 FIBA World Cup in Manila. The Warriors coach raved about Portis' blue-collar mentality when they picked him for Team USA, adding that he is a guy with size and physicality and a pick-and-pop game, someone who can step out and make threes from that big position, which changes the floor spacing. Trade proposal sends Andrew Wiggins to Raptors, Bruce Brown to Warriors. One NBA analyst proposed that the Golden State Warriors and Toronto Raptors make a trade with each other this offseason. Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report proposed the following trade idea between the Warriors and Raptors. The trade: the Toronto Raptors trade Bruce Brown to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins. Wiggins averaged 13.2 points, 4.5 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 0.6 steals, and 0.6 blocks this season for the Warriors while shooting 45.3% from the field, 35.8% from beyond the arc, and 75.1% from the free throw line. The NBA champion will make $26.3 million next season. The Raptors acquired Brown from the Indiana Pacers in the blockbuster Pascal Siakam trade. Brown finished this season with averages of 10.8 points, 4.2 rebounds, 2.9 assists, 0.9 steals, and 0.3 blocks in 67 games with the Pacers and Raptors, while shooting 47.8% from the field, 32.3% from beyond the arc, and 82.4% from the free throw line. Brown has a club option worth $23 million for next season. According to NBA insider Doug Smith of the Toronto Star, the Raptors plan to trade Brown this offseason. The Raptors could try flipping him for a future-focused package of picks and/or prospects, but maybe they sense a quick turnaround is doable with the Scotty Barnes, R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley core, Buckley wrote. Maybe they'd be drawn to someone whom they simply plan on keeping longer than Brown. Wiggins, a Toronto native, could be that player. At 29, he's a touch older than Toronto's nucleus, but he's only 2 seasons removed from being the second-best player on a world champion. He could have more prime years in front of him, despite what his rocky 2023-24 campaign might suggest. If Wiggins can bounce back, there's some bargain potential in a trade here, especially if the Warriors see Brown's expiring contract as enough of a return. The Warriors and Raptors missed the playoffs this year. Wiggins has career averages of 18.5 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.0 steals, and 0.7 blocks with the Minnesota Timberwolves and Warriors. He was the first pick in the 2014 NBA draft. Meanwhile, Brown has career averages of 8.9 points, 4.2 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 0.9 steals and 0.5 blocks with the Detroit Pistons, Brooklyn Nets, Denver Nuggets, Pacers and Raptors. He helped Denver win the 2023 championship over the Miami Heat. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Bruce Brown? Leave your opinion in the comments.